Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our webinar today on Anterra DataCenter. Thank you for coming. As part of the Construction Software Alliance, we've got two products going on. We've got the Anterra DataCenter, which takes all of your Timberline data from as many folders as you have and synchronizes it into a single Microsoft SQL database, and our Anterra BI product, which connects to that data through SQL and presents dashboard scorecards and drill-through financial statements. So today, at this first session, we're going to be covering Data Center. Now, in the GoToWebinar chat window on the right side, if you have questions, if you can enter them there, our organizer, Dennis Doherty, will be able to gather up those questions and then pass them to me is the way it works. So thank you for attending. And if you see that GoToWebinar window expanded on your right side and want to contract it, at the top there's an orange right arrow. Click on that to expand and collapse it so you can see the full screen. All right, so to introduce you to Anterra, we've been around a long time and provide business intelligence and reporting solutions for Timberline and other companies. We have over 10 years of experience delivering these solutions to the Timberline client base and have a lot of construction and real estate expertise. In addition, we were one of the first Sage development partners. So we've been around them a long time and know the software well. We have a large number of clients, and oftentimes these are some of Timberline's largest and industry-leading clients. They tend to want to work in SQL and want business intelligence. Our main features of Data Center is that once you get your information into SQL, you get faster reporting off Crystal reports. Because Crystal does not have to go through an ODBC driver, it connects directly to SQL. Your reports that can take, in many cases, even more than an hour can run in under a minute when you point it at the SQL warehouse. We can also consolidate information across multiple data folders. Even existing reports you have in Crystal could be subtotaled by data folder. It makes your data more accessible for integrations and reporting and connections like Excel, and you can then be free to archive your data anytime. Many customers don't like to archive their data because they lose the ability to report off of it when you archive it off to separate master files. With our data warehouse, of course, you can report across all of your data. One of the other benefits of using a SQL warehouse is that you're going to reduce the reporting workload on Timberline. So that means it will run faster. So by archiving your data and by moving some of the reporting workload onto SQL, you'll be able to see improvement in Timberline's performance. Some of the largest clients on Timberline experience reduced performance because of data size, and this will actually solve the problem. For consolidated reporting, of course, we have all of the data, including PO, purchasing, inventory, and service management data in the data warehouse. So you can run reports to your heart's content and get out of manual consolidations in Excel. So in summary, we're making things easier to integrate and report off of, and also expanding your reporting options to things like Microsoft's Report Writer, which is SSRS, or Excel. In particular, Excel's later versions of Office have very good SQL connections. The architecture of the product is that we set this up on your server, the SQL database, and then select each of the Timberline or Sage data folders and point them at a SQL database. And again, we've worked with many very large companies. You can have multiple SQL databases if you like. Usually, though, it's one big SQL database. Some clients have as much as 40 gigabytes of data, so we're not afraid of data size here. And let's take a quick look and see how that looks. Sorry, I'm going to go into a virtual server, and this is Data Center. So the Data Center product is actually very straightforward. It's a server tool, and what we do is we set up each of your data folders as a connection and give it a database ID name. This allows us to merge data from multiple folders that have the same data keys. For example, you could have the same AP vendor in multiple data folders. That's fine because we add a database ID key to each and every table. We also scan your data. So once you've once you've identified a data folder, we'll go through and scan for all of the folders in the database and set up the SQL database for you. So we create the SQL tables. So the process of setting it up is very quick, oftentimes less than a half hour. You then, again, attach data folders, give them a database ID, point them at your choice of SQL databases. Again, some clients say, well, they may not own SQL now, what do we do? Well, Microsoft has a free version of SQL called SQL Express, which holds up to 10 gigabytes of data, which is a heck of a lot of data. So for clients that don't own SQL, that's a free option. Once we establish the connections and tell the system where the data goes, you then create schedules using we have a wizard to create schedules that will create Windows Server schedule tasks. So the question of how often do you synchronize data is up to you. The answer is that synchronization is up to you. You can set these schedules to run as often as you want, including continuously. So you can have a near real-time SQL version of your Timberline and Sage data. So some clients really like that. Of course, when you do that, you would set the schedule task to run as a lower priority on your servers so it doesn't chew up a lot of resources when higher priority items need processing. So you can also set up as many schedules as you want, and schedules get as granular as down to the tables, so that if you wanted to update your GL 4 times a day or your payroll 5 times a day, that's all fine. Most clients, though, do set up a nightly schedule and then some midday schedule for things like AR and GL where people want to run reports more than once a day. And we can help you set that up even in that half-hour session. So that's a quick look at the software itself. It's a mature software. It's been out 10 years, so there's a lot of safety checks and reconciliations we do to ensure that the reconciliation's working. Let's take a quick look at SQL itself to show you how the system looks. If I'm into SQL Server Management Studio here, which is what you administer SQL in, and that in the data center product, we pointed at a database called ADC, or Anterra DataCenter data. So Anterra DataCenter has scanned that database and loaded all the tables in. And these table names, of course, are very familiar to you. And what we do then is if you just pick one of these tables, like if we roll down and you can see all these different tables, if I pick up the Job Master Job table and look at the top couple hundred rows, what you'll see is that the database ID, we've got 2 databases here from the construction sample data and the electrical contracting sample data on the same table. Again, this is working for every single table, so should you want to report across multiple GL or job cost or any module, payroll, equipment will be able to do that. So that's a view of how the data looks underneath the covers on the tables with a database ID. What does this mean to you practically from the front end of software? You could take any of the existing Sage Crystal reports or even ones that consultants have built or you have built and just change the data connection string. And instead of pointing at the pervasive database, point at the SQL database. And because the table structure is the same, the reports will work. So you can then, like this one, attach it to your desktop, and you'll see on the expanding tree view, which unfortunately I don't think you can make this side bigger, but you'll see you can jump between multiple databases here. So under the construction sample database, we're starting on this job and then going under the electrical sample database on this job. Okay, so again, very quick to set up, very efficient and proven, and we have a lot of clients that actually tell us they run their business off this software. Between reporting and data integrations with other systems, this is the hub of all information for a good number of clients. So I'm going to pause there for questions. Dennis, have you seen any questions come through your chat window as you are the moderator?
I haven't seen any yet. If you have any questions, feel free to post them in the questions section. Or you can also raise your hand and we can unmute you. Okay.
while we're waiting for, if there are questions, please go ahead and type them in. While we're waiting, I'll just show you how that software, the data center product, will then synchronize to our cloud-based BI software. So in the couple of minutes we have left here, I'll show you that we can take that data and push it into over 200 pre-built dashboard scorecards and drill through reports. For example, we can take financial ratios and trend everything because we take the data and layer on top of it a Microsoft OLAP cube or SQL Server Analysis Services cube. What that does is you take a formula like current ratio and you build it in the cube and tell the cube to measure that at the end of every month. You can have daily, weekly, monthly, and quarterly and annual measures. So for this formula, we've told the cube to track this every month. So every time we update the data from your on-premise Anterra DataCenter, we process the cube, and then this graph just works. So every update then will tell us current assets divided by current liabilities. And you can drill right through to transactions. So we have a combination of financial BI, which includes consolidations. The advantage of consolidations, of course, is that our financial statements drill through to transactions, run backwards as far as you want. As part of the software alliance here, we integrate with TimberScan software. So if you want to drill through an income statement and get down to your expense transactions, again, I'm drilling into consolidated numbers here, all the way through to transactions. We're able to integrate with TimberScan and other document management systems, but TimberScan is a very good and popular system out there. So if you have one of these invoices, you can then drill through.
Bruce, we had a question come in. It's from Gord Grant. It says, will it be possible to write to multiple SQL databases and SQL Azure?
Yes, in fact, Gordon, I'm able to follow up with him separately. We've known Gordon, good friend for a long time as a client. Yes, we actually take SQL data as part of our BI software and actually write it up to SQL Azure. That's exactly what we're doing. So Gordon, I'll send you a follow-up email and give you a follow-up phone call to go into more depth about what you're wanting to achieve. Great. We also have full construction BI and then real estate BI. I'll close with that because, Dennis, I think we have a couple of minutes left. So for construction BI, again, lots of dashboard scorecards, everything drills through to transactions, and we can put whatever parameters you want, business unit, job type, project manager, project superintendent. We can basically filter these however you like. So we're using industry best practices to give you the best reporting available. In addition, we're helping align your organization to look at things the same way and make things transparent. Again, you can look at things through to transactions. On the real estate side, we have a good number of dashboards as well, again, built with lots of client input. This, for example, is an occupancy dashboard where we'll color your property pins on a map by your occupancy or vacancy percentage here. So properties that are less than 80% occupied here are red, and we can see those on this map. We actually have geocoding on things, and we're just about to do that in construction as well. And when you pick a particular property, we'll zoom you into the bird's eye view where you can launch a really good rent roll, occupancy reports, and our soon-to-be released drill-through site plans. So Dennis, I'm going to conclude the data center webinar here. Again, pause for questions, and if we have none, we'll get people to move on to the next seminar.
Okay, great. If you have any further questions, you can feel free to email. Did you bring up your email earlier, Bruce?
I'm sorry, I need to bring up our contact information. Thank you, Dennis, for reminding me.
No problem.
This is our contact information here. Myself or my colleague Paul are available to answer your questions about data center or business intelligence, and hopefully we're able to help you. So here's our contact information. You can reach out to us at any time.
Okay, great. Well, thank you for attending. Anterra will be hosting the next webinar. It's going to cover Anterra BI. I mean, sorry, is that Anterra BI or Data Center?
We just finished Data Center. We're on to BI next.
Okay,
and thank you,
yes.
Dennis, for organizing these meetings. Yeah. Thanks for organizing the meetings and being the moderator.
Yes. Okay, thank you.
All right. Thanks, everyone.